con me è la fisarmonica che continua. Poi ad un tratto...
Buongiorno, amici! In this sensational mac and cheese preparation, as the name suggests, we're going to focus on cheese and a little bit of mac, i.e. macaroni, but this is going to be later on in the video, so stick around. What's the best cheese out there? This question is quite debatable and, let's face it, personal. But here are my top 3 plus 1. I'll explain later. For this chef's choice mac and cheese preparation, I'm going to use my favorite Gruyere, Havarti, of course Parm, and a few young mozzarella cubes at the very end to give our mac and cheese that stretchy, sexy look and feel, which we are all looking for in our mac and cheese plate. While as the first 3 are going to give us that sharp, strong and complicated flavors of aged cheeses, like everything that comes with age. However, should you choose your own selection of cheeses, which I know you would, because there are so many cheeses out there we can't possibly be in love with the same ones. Just keep in mind to balance out the high and low water content cheeses to avoid clumps and increase meltability in our final sauce. So, first things first, take your cheese and, you guessed it, grate your cheese. Of course, you can use a regular grater with a side that gives you the smaller shred. However, if you have this essential tool, microplane, use it. It will give you a much finer shred, so at the end it will be easier to incorporate it in our sauce. By the time that you get to the rind part of your cheese, if you have one, please, I beg you, do not throw it away. You can use this rind in your other culinary adventures to infuse your sauces, stocks and broths or whatever your heart desires with that amazing cheese flavor. And while you watch me shredding the cheese, let me tell you a few more things about this recipe that makes it outstanding, sensational, chef's choice mac and cheese recipe. In this recipe, we are not going to compromise on cheese flavors. So forget about the flour, forget about butter, basically forget about the roux. We don't want those overwhelming starchy profiles. All we want to taste is cheese. And what goes well with cheese? Maybe wine? What about beer? I don't see why not. In addition to these two guys, we're also going to add a little bit of water to our sauce so it doesn't get too boozy, a little bit of sodium citrate to compensate that high acidity in our sauce, and our star ingredient, Iota carrageenan, which, by the way, there is going to be an ingredient breakdown video coming up shortly on my channel, so make sure to subscribe so you can learn more about this amazing ingredient. But what it's going to do in our recipe is going to help to bring all the ingredients together and emulsify the sauce. And what recipe is complete without salt? All you're gonna do here is just blend all your ingredients together. Hand blender, stand blender, immersion blender, doesn't really matter. Just make sure that all your ingredients are properly mixed, everything is dissolved and there are no clumps. And in order to avoid that, here's a quick tip. Do leave your Iota carrageenan to the very end and add it slowly to the mixture while your blender keeps on blending. Trust me on that, it's gonna help. The next step is to bring this mixture to simmer and cook it for about 2 minutes. So all the ingredients are activated and all the alcohol particles are gently evaporated, leaving only the flavorful and deep aromas and taste. And don't forget to whisk all the time, non-stop, through the whole process, because this is the way.
This is the way.
Next, let's take this mixture off the heat and start adding our previously grated cheese. First, I thought slowly, but then I changed my mind and added all at once. Because just like you guys, I'm learning along the way while making these videos. And I'm sharing my insights with you. So, take it or leave it, here they are. Mix everything together with a spatula as much as you can, and then transfer it back to the blender. Blend to a smooth, silky consistency, as smooth as you can. And for that, I highly recommend you to use a powerful hand blender, because if you haven't done a workout on the day of making this mac and cheese, this exercise could be considered a workout on its own. Now that it is done, transfer this cheesy mixture to a shallowish container, smooth it out, close it with a plastic wrap, touching the surface so there is no oxidation going on, and let it cool down to room temperature. Then put it in the fridge and let it set for a few hours. Well, at least half an hour. For those of you who have been waiting, the time came to talk about mac part of the recipe, i.e. macaroni, or pasta if you may. Of course, you can use a classical mac and cheese pasta shape, which looks like that, or the one that's a little bit shorter. However, there are no written restrictions when it comes to mac and cheese. The direction that you should be going towards when using the best pasta shape for this recipe is looking for a pasta shape with a texture or cavities where cheesy sauce can easily stick to. When it comes to your pasta preparation, I would seriously suggest you to look at the label that came with your pasta and follow the instructions there. I'm talking about the time. Just don't forget to salt your water and taste your pasta when it comes close to the final time. The texture that we're looking for is al dente and you don't want to miss it because once it's gone, it's gone. And while our pasta is cooking, let's mix together a few tablespoons of our now set epic cream cheese and a few tablespoons of our starchy pasta water where our pasta is cooking in right now. Do, however, challenge yourself to make a better job than I do with this process. Maybe consider using a hand blender. And while it's still hot, do add just a few cubes of mozzarella to add that Instagrammable stretchiness factor to our mac and cheese. But don't add too much so you don't overpower our main mature cheesy flavors. And now that our glutinous, well, I don't know what's such a word, basically full of gluten pasta is ready, let's transfer it to a bowl and mix it together with our epic, sensational, starchless cheese sauce. OMG.
It's beautiful!
Just look at that. I wish you can smell it, guys. That seriously is the best mac and cheese I've ever come across. It's like a bowl of carbs sent from heaven. I don't know how about you, but I'm so glad I've done this video. I sure have an amazing dinner for tonight. And that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Ma che buio stasera. E già da un po' sono in strada con il capo all'insù a guardare verso il cielo e non mi riesce di trovare la luna. Mi viene una gran voglia di chiamarla. Luna! Magari si affaccia. Sarebbe bello, no? Tu la chiami